Hi friends, Miss Marinara here with another mentor text. This one's called The Name Jar, and it is written by Yangsuk Choi. As always, we need to get our brains ready, so we do a little picture walk before we start to read. Okay, possibly one of our characters. Oh, okay, I'm noticing the setting there. I see an airplane and family. Oh, looks like maybe a school bus. Notice the characters' faces too. Oh, and possibly a school. There. All right, I think we have our brains ready. I think we're ready to start reading this story. What do you think? Okay. The Name Jar. Through the school bus window, Eun-hye looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day, and she was both nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket and remembered leaving her grandmother at the airport in Korea. Her grandmother had wiped away Eun-hye's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red satin pouch. "Your name is inside," she had said. My name? Eun-hye had wondered. Again she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name carved in it. As she ran her fingers over the grooves, the ridges of the Korean characters, she pictured her grandmother's smile. "Is that thing for show and tell?" a boy asked Eun-hye, surprising her. Eun-hye looked up as more kids leaned over. "No, it's mine," Eun-hye answered, quickly putting it in her pouch back in her pocket. "Are you new here? What's your name?" a girl asked. "Eun-hye," said Eun-hye. "Uni, une, unini." No. It's spelled U-N-H-E-I. It's pronounced Eun-hye. Oh, you hey. Like you hey. What about hey you? Just then, the bus pulled up to the school and the doors opened. Eun-hye hurried to get off. "You hey, bye-bye," the kids yelled as she left. Eun-hye felt herself blush. What does that mean? That she felt herself blush. Does that make you think about makeup? And blush is usually something that's put on your cheek. Makes your cheek a little bit rosy, a little bit red. What does it mean when you feel that way? Okay. I think we're agreeing. She's probably upset, nervous, scared. They're not being very nice to her, are they? No. Eun-hye stood in the doorway of her new and noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face was still red. "Aren't you going in?" asked a curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. "What are those things called?" "That's right, freckles." "You're the new girl, right?" he asked cheerfully. Eun-hye nodded, and before she could walk away, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. "Here's the new girl," he announced so loudly that the teacher, Mr. Kokotos, almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Kokotos thanked him and greeted Eun-hye. "Please welcome our newest student," he said to the class. "She and her family just arrived from Korea last week." Eun-hye smiled broadly and tried not to show her nervousness. "What's your name?" someone shouted. Eun-hye pictured the kids on the bus. "I haven't picked one yet," she told the class, "but I'll let you know by next week." As Mr. Kokotos showed her to her desk, she felt many round curious eyes on her. "Why does she have a name?" she heard someone whisper. "Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and needs a new identity," a boy replied. Those silly kids. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Eunhai kept thinking about her name. "How was school, Eunhai?" her mother asked when she walked in. "Did you understand the teacher?" Eunhai simply nodded. She unpacked her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. "I'm glad you are learning English well," her mother said. "You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show that you're a good Korean." "I will," replied Eunhai, but I think I would like my own American name," she said quickly. Her mother looked at her with surprise. "Why? Eunhai is a beautiful name. Your grandma and I went to a name master for it." "But it's so hard to pronounce," Eunhai complained. "And I don't want to be different from all the American kids." "You are different, Eunhai," her mother said, "and that's a good thing." Eunhai wrinkled her nose. I don't think she agrees. Later that day, Eunhai and her mother went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Fadil's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A big graffiti-painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took off down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi, which is a Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Eunhai's favorite, for soup. It made Eunhai smile. "Just because we've moved to America," her mother said, "doesn't mean we stop eating Korean food." So notice the scenery here, the setting, and how the author spoke about the different businesses here. Did you notice there's a variety of businesses? That's right. Italian, maybe Middle Eastern or Mediterranean, maybe Jewish, the deli there, we're not sure, but all kinds of foods are in this neighborhood. At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Eunhai. "Helping your mother with the shopping?" he asked. Eunhai nodded. "I'm Mr. Kim," he said. "And what is your name?" "Eunhai," she answered. "What a beautiful name. Doesn't that mean Grace?" Eunhai nodded again. "My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it," she told him. "A graceful name for a graceful girl," Mr. Kim said as he put her groceries into the bags. "Welcome to the neighborhood, Eunhai." That evening, Eunhai stood in front of the bathroom mirror. "Hi, my name is Amanda," she said cheerfully. Then she wrinkled her nose. "Hi, my name is Laura." Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt right. "I don't think American kids will like me," she worried as she began to brush her teeth. "How many sushi?" she said to the mirror, with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning, when Eunhai arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Eunhai took one out and read it aloud. "It's a daisy." "That's my baby sister's nickname, but she said you can use it if you want," said Cindy, who sat next to her. Eunhai took out the rest of the paper. "Tamala," she read. "I got it from a storybook," said Nate. "She was smart and brave." Eunhai nodded and unfolded another piece. "Wednesday?" "Yeah, you came here on a Wednesday," said Ralph. "Thank you for the help," she said. Ralph quickly said, "We'll put more names in. You can pick whatever you like, or pick them all, and you'll have the longest name in history." So there is where the name of our story came from. The name jar. All right, tune in to part 2, the second half of the name jar. See you soon.